Michael had fought Sony. He had publicly attacked the company. But now, his financial problems had changed the balance of power. For years, Michael and Sony had been equal partners. 50% Michael, 50% Sony. But the 2006 refinancing changed that. Michael's remaining stake was reduced to 25%, while Sony gained an option to acquire another 25%. The 2006 agreement was structured so that Sony could eventually acquire half of Michael's original 50% interest. And that meant something extraordinary. The man who had once owned half of Sony ATV was no longer in the same position he had been when the partnership began. But Michael still had something extremely valuable. His remaining 25% stake continued generating income, and the catalog itself kept growing in value. The 2006 reporting valued Sony or ATV at around $1 billion, and said Michael would continue receiving profits from his remaining share. So Michael wasn't out of the game. Far from it. He still owned a significant piece of one of music's most valuable publishing catalogs. But Michael's financial troubles didn't simply disappear. His debts remained a major issue, and his other assets were also under pressure. Contemporary reporting continued to describe serious financial difficulties, including debt secured against other assets. Even Neverland became part of the financial struggle. By 2008, Michael again faced the possibility of losing the property. In May 2008, a foreclosure auction of Neverland was avoided after Colony Capital bought the troubled loan. But Michael still had one enormous advantage: his music. His catalog continued generating money, and his recordings remained incredibly valuable. And then something unexpected happened. Interest in Michael Jackson's music began rising again. His old recordings were still capable of generating enormous revenue. Michael wasn't finished. He was preparing for another comeback. And in 2009, the world was about to see him again. The announcement of his This Is It concerts created enormous worldwide attention. Michael was preparing to return to the stage. But behind the scenes, his financial situation remained complicated. He still had substantial debts, and his most valuable assets remained crucial to his future. Contemporary reporting after his death estimated that Michael owed more than $400 million while holding substantial assets, including his Sony or ATV interest and master recordings. Then, everything changed. On June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson died. And suddenly, the Sony or ATV story was no longer just about Michael. It was about his estate. Michael was gone, but who would control his empire? His family? His estate? Or Sony? Leave your prediction in the comments. Next episode, the estate takes over. Michael was gone, but the battle over his music was far from over. Subscribe for part 9. The Michael Jackson vs. Sony story continues.